Orientation is locked.
Check this Williams. Call Williams. Call Williams.
Who called Williams there?
I think it's him.
William! Notified me that we're live.
Yeah.
Can you come?
Hey, he's live. You don't need to please though.
So, welcome guys. Yeah. So we're about to start the live mathematics of quadratic equation with Sam. So as we are speaking, Sam is with us right now. So like, just give us a couple of minutes, then we'll start the live. Thank you. I remain Devian. See you later. Bye.
Precious. Precious. He's right. Is he here?
So you're coming once this. Can you hear me?
Yeah, something like that.
Can you hear me? Sound check, sound check. Can you hear me? Can you indicate if you can hear me clearly?
Yes.
Can you hear me? We're trying to balance the sound, so give us a few minutes to get the sound right before we go on. Straight. Can we begin? All right. Hi everyone. This is El Sam. I make math make sense. So today we'll be treating quadratic equations in mathematics. So if you have not learned quadratic equations before, can you type 1? Can you type 1 on your chart? If you have learned it but you're not very comfortable with it, type 2. And then if you are good with quadratic equations, type 3. Let's understand our audience so that we'll know the route to follow. So if you have not done quadratic equations before, this is your first time to learn quadratic equations, type 1. If you have learned quadratic equations before but not very comfortable with it, you can type 2. And then if you are comfortable with it, you just want to go advanced, type 3. Okay, let me check the comments. Okay. 3, 2, OG blood 2. Okay, so there's no 1. So most of the people life are comfortable, or at least have some idea of what quadratic equations are. So, okay, let's proceed quickly. So we'll begin with meaning. Now, what is a quadratic equation? A quadratic equation is any polynomial of degree 2. When I say degree 2, that means the highest power of x, or the alphabet we are using, is 2. Now, it looks like this. So, this is what a quadratic equation looks like. The highest power of x is 2. So this is a quadratic equation. Remember I said it's a polynomial of highest power 2 or degree 2. So this is what a quadratic equation looks like. Now take note, in a typical quadratic equation that looks like this, A, B, and C are constants. A, B, and C are constants. You know what that means? It means A can be 1, 2 numbers. So both A, B, and C, they can be numbers like 1, 2, 3. They are constants, they are not variables. So take note, a quadratic equation looks like this, where A, B, and C are constants. And one more rule, A cannot be 0. So you must have the presence of A for it to be quadratic. Okay? Now with this understanding, I'm going to give you 4 questions, or 5. You'll tell me whether or not they are quadratic. So let's go. Can I move this way? Okay? So state whether these are quadratic. So the first one, x squared plus 3x plus 4 equal to 0. So you're going to tell me either it is quadratic or it is not quadratic. So you're indicating either Q or NQ. Number 2, x squared minus 4 equal to 0. So you want to tell me number 2q or number 2 nq. 3, we have x plus 2x plus 3x equal 0. 4, we have, let's say 3 minus 2x plus 4x squared equals 0. And the last one, 5x plus 6x minus 2 equal 0. So just tell me either q or nq. So just type 1 q, 2 maybe nq, and so on. So I'm expecting your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm waiting for your answers quickly. So I'm checking. So tell me whether or not these equations are quadratic. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, most people say 1 is quadratic. I'm waiting, just put in your answers for 1 to 5. Okay. Emmanuel says 1 is quadratic. Wisdom Michael says 1 is quadratic. Wisdom says 2 is quadratic. Big name battles 2. You have not indicated whether it's quadratic or not. Grandy Hub 1 is quadratic. OG Blood 1 is quadratic. So I'm waiting. So take it out. Okay. Get back in a minute. Okay, so can you show the questions? Okay. Now let me provide my answer so that we can proceed. 1 is actually quadratic. 2 is actually quadratic because it has a. So this is like ax squared or 1x squared minus 0x minus 4 equals 0. So this is quadratic. 3 is not quadratic because the power of 2, that's x squared, is missing. So 3 is not quadratic. How about 4? It is quadratic because you have your x squared. And what of 5? Not quadratic. Why is it not quadratic? The power of 2 is missing. So this is of degree 1. This is a linear equation. Quadratic, linear, quadratic, and quadratic. So I believe you now know what a quadratic equation is. 1, it must have a highest power of 2. And it looks like this. So I believe you understand what a quadratic equation is now. So now let's look at our second point. So we move to methods of solution. Okay, so there are 4 methods of solution to the quadratic equation. Now, one thing you need to know about the quadratic equation is that when you solve, you have 2 answers, which we call the roots of the equation. Now, there are 4 ways we can solve these quadratic equations. So, the methods of solution, 1, we have factorization, which is pretty straightforward. Another is completing the square method. The third one is the formula method. And the fourth one is the graphical. So the fourth one is the graphical method. So there are 4 ways we can solve a quadratic equation and get our roots. Remember, the roots are the answers and usually have two roots to quadratic equations. So let's start with the first one, factorization. Okay, so factorization method. Let's pick an example. X squared minus, plus 5x plus 6 equal 0. And this is a quadratic equation. Now we want to solve it by factorization. Okay. Alright, so factorization method. So we're picking an example. We want to solve it by factorization method. Okay, if you already understand factorization method, can you indicate by typing 1? Type 1. If you understand factorization method before now, can you indicate by typing 1? Let me get to see. Okay, Messi understands, Michael understands, Big Name Battle understands, Grandy Hub understands. Okay, now when you want to factorize, what we do, you look for, okay, first let's get some values out. If you remember our original equation, it says ax squared plus bx plus c equal 0. Now, the implication is that from this our equation, our a is 1. Remember, a is the coefficient of x squared. Our b is 5, positive 5. b is the coefficient of x. And our c is 6. Right? Now, when we say factorization, what we want to do is look for two numbers that when we multiply them, the product is a multiplied by c and the sum is b. So we're looking for two numbers that when we multiply them, when we multiply them, we get AC. And when we add them together, we get B. So I hope you understand the concept. So we're looking for two numbers that when multiplied, we have the answer gives us A multiplied by C. And when we add them, it gives us B. So from this, our A multiplied by C will be 1 multiplied by 6, which is 6. And our B is what? 5. Now we need two numbers that when we multiply them together, we get 6. And when we add them, we get 5. Now let's go. 1 multiplied by 6 can give us 6. 2 multiplied by 3 can give us 5. But now the second condition, when we add them, the sum should give us B. So if we get the sum, 1 plus 6, that's 7. And 2 plus 3, that's 5. So this qualifies. So when we multiply 2 and 3, when we multiply 2 and 3, it gives us 6. When we add 2 and 3, it gives us 5. So it fulfills the condition. So we'll proceed by writing it this way. So we have x squared. Instead of writing this 5x now, we use the two numbers. So plus 2x plus 3x plus 6 equal to 0. So this our 5x now has become 2x plus 3x. Alright, so this has become this. Now watch, the 5x is what? 2x plus 3x. What we can do from here Okay. Can you reply? Okay. All right. Ebube Wanchuku, you said you are in SS1. Okay. If you have been following from the beginning, yeah, you'll get what was saying. But noted. I will break it down further. Thank you. All right. So as I was saying earlier, this 5x gives us 2x plus 3x. And what we can do, as the name says, factorization, we would factorize. Now we'll group these two and these two. So we'll have x squared plus 2x, we'll have plus 3x plus 6. So we group these two and these two equal 0. Now we can look for what is common. X is common between x squared and 2x. So we'll have an x left. X multiplied by x gives us x squared plus 2. X multiplied by 2 gives us 2x, right? Plus, what is common here? Between 3 and 6. I think 3 is common, right? Right? Yeah, so 3 is common. What we'll have left is x plus 2 equal to 0. Okay, I believe you are following. I will solve another example on this. If this one is not clear, by the time we solve the second, I think it will be clear to you. So let's proceed. Now, one thing that you should notice is that when you get to this stage, these two brackets should be same. So let's pick them. So x plus 2, like the two brackets that are the same, we're factorizing now, we'll pick them out into what we have left is x plus 3. Get what I did? I picked the common factor, which is x plus 2, then I have left x plus 3, now equal to 0. I don't know if anybody has a question on what's on how far we've gotten. If there's any question, kindly indicate. I'll check and respond. All right, now if you have a product equal to 0, it is either, let's say you have 4, let's say a plus a multiplied by b equals 0. It's either a is 0 or b is 0. So when a product is equal to 0, either of the numbers will be 0. So if we apply that here, it means that x plus 2 is equal to 0 or x plus 3 equal to 0. And now we can collect like terms. X equal to 2. Sorry, negative 2 plus 2 goes here, becomes minus 2, or x equal to plus 3 becomes minus 3. So remember I said we have 2 roots to the equation. So these are the roots of the equation, minus 2 and minus 3 to this equation. Okay, so that's our first example for the class. So if it's not clear to you, can you indicate and the area that you are not clear with, so that in the next example we'll stress that part? Can I go through? Okay, someone says I can't see. Okay, so it is clear to most of you. Okay, so we'll pick another example. Can I solve the... Someone says, can you restart Excel, Alexander? All right, I'll make the second example as clear so that you follow. Okay, so do I do same here or I bring it here? Okay, so we'll come back to this. I'll bring it back when it's time. So still on factorization method, we want to solve another problem. So example 2 says solve x squared plus 7x plus 12 equal to 0. Okay, so we're factorizing, and what we do in factorization is that we look for two numbers whose product is AC. Okay, first our A in this case is 1, right? Our B is 7 and our C is 12. Now, if you don't understand how we're getting the ABC, remember that every quadratic equation looks like this: ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. Now, if you compare with the question we're given, you see that A is 1, which will not be indicated, B is 7, and C is 12. So, now, that's what we have. Now, remember what we want to achieve. We're looking for two numbers to break this 7 to. Those two numbers, when we multiply them, let's call the first, okay, two numbers, when we multiply them, we get AC. When we add them, we get B. So the product of those two numbers will give us AC, and the sum of the two numbers will give us B. So what's our AC? Our AC is 12, right? That's A multiplied by C is 12. So we're looking for two numbers when multiplied will give us 12. So we have 1 multiplied by 12. We have 2 multiplied by 6. We have 3 multiplied by 4. All of these numbers will give us 12, right? Okay. Okay, some people want me to recap, so let me come back. Now, this is the equation we want to solve, just like the other one we solved. Now, our A is 1, that's A is the coefficient of x squared. B is the coefficient of x, it is 7, and C is 12. Comparing this question to the standard equation, so we have A, B, and C. Now, when we want to solve by factorization, we are looking for two numbers where multiplied gives us the product of A and C. So A multiplied by C is 12. So we're looking for two numbers that will give us 12 when multiplied. So we have 1 multiplied by 12, 2 multiplied by 6, and 3 multiplied by 4. If we multiply all of these, we get 12, right? Now, the second condition is that when we add the two numbers, we get B. And B is 7. So our B is 7. So looking at this, I think these two will give us 7 when we add them. So plus 3 and plus 4 will give us plus 7. And we'll have plus 7. So we can do that now. We can break this. So from here, we'll have x squared. Instead of 7x now, we'll have plus 3x plus 4x. Now this 2 will give us the 7x, right? Then we continue, plus 12 equal to 0. As we did earlier, we group. So we have x squared plus 3x plus 4x plus 12 equal to 0. Okay? So what's common between x squared and 3x? X is common, right? So we pick our x. What's left here is the other x plus 3. Plus what is common between 4x and 12? I think 4 can go in 12. So 4 is common. We have x plus 3. And it is equal to 0. I hope you are following. So if you are confused in any way, you can just indicate, or any portion of it you can indicate, so that I will explain that part. Because we have just one example left to move to completing the square. So you can drop comments if you are not clear with anything, so that I explain it. Okay, Chinenye Juliet says, I don't understand.
Yeah, you're acting.
Okay. Alright, so let's proceed. Now, this x plus 3 is common to both sides. So we pick an x plus 3. From the first side, we have x, and from the other, we have plus 4. So x plus 3 is common, and then x plus 4 equal to 0. Now, I said is that when the product is equal to 0, we say that the first, that's x plus 3, is equal to 0, or the second, x plus 4, equal to 0. Now from here, x equal to this plus 3 to the other side becomes minus 3, or x equal to plus 4 becomes minus 4. And that's the answer. So I'll put a third one on the board now. I'll expect you to solve. I'll give you 60 seconds to solve it, and then we'll do it together. Let's see. So put your answers in the comment section before I provide the solution. So let me bring it here. So x squared minus 10x plus 16 equals 0. Okay, so you have it clear. X squared minus 10x plus 16 equal to 0. So your time starts now. 60 seconds counting. Okay, so mathematics is actually interesting. You just have to open your mind, like be open-minded to it. Even if the question looks scary at first, just write it down, follow the laws, and bit by bit you get an answer. So I'll make you love mathematics as we proceed. So I'm waiting for your answer. As you listen, just keep solving. So you have to provide the roots of this equation, which is x squared minus 10x plus 16. Alright, so it's almost 60 seconds. I'm expecting your answers in the comment section before I solve it. Now, this time I will be a bit faster because we've done 2 examples already, and I believe it's pretty clear. So we're waiting for your answers. Alright, if you are joining us from the US, our condolences to the family of Charlie Kirk, who lost his life. That's a sad one. Alright, so back to the business. Any answer? Anybody posted an answer? Okay, Wisdom Michael says 8 and 2. Big name battles, 8 and 2. Okay. Alright, one more answer. Let's proceed. One more answer. common, x minus 2 minus 8 is common between 8 and 16. So 8 is common. We have x. This is supposed to be positive 2, but this negative here affects it. So it becomes negative 2 equal to 0. So x minus 2 is common. So x minus 2 is common. What we have left is x and minus 8 equal to 0. So it's either x minus 2 equals 0 or x minus 8 equal to 0. So x is either equal to 2, positive 2, or x equal to 8. So these are the roots of this equation. Alright, so some of you got it right. Okay. So that's right. So we've solved questions on factorization, but I think we need to do one more examples because it's not in all the cases that we have a to be 1. So one last example of quadratic equations. And then if you are feeling confident, you can solve before the rest of us. Okay. So positive 2. Okay. So if you are feeling confident already, you can solve this and let's see your answer. Okay, but to save time, I'll just proceed. So our AC will be 8 multiplied by negative 3, which is negative 24. And our B is 2. So what are the factors of 24? We have 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. 4 and 6 looks like what can give us 2, right? So, but since it's negative 24 and positive 2, so we'll have negative 4 and positive 6. Multiply these two will give us negative 24. If we add them to give us positive 2. So that's it. So let's come back. We'll have 8x squared plus, instead of 2x now, we have what? 4. That's negative 4, positive 6x, now minus 3 equal to 0. So we've broken this into this and this the same way. So we'll group this way. So 4 is common and x is common, right? So 4x is common. We'll have 2 and x, then minus 4x and 4x, 1. Plus 3 is common between 3 and 6, so we'll have 3 is common. Here we'll have 2x, because 3 multiplied by 2x, that's 6x, right? Minus 3 and 3, 1 equal 0. Right? Remember what I said. When factorization is possible, these two values become the same. So let's factorize it. So we have 2x minus 1 multiplied by 4x plus 3. If you are following, you know what we're doing. This, then 4x and 3 give this other bracket. So from here, since the product is equal to 0, it is either 2x minus 1 equals 0 or 4x plus 3 equal to 0. So from here, 2x equal to 1, or 4x equal to -3. Finally, we can divide both sides by 2 so that x equal to 1/2. Or to divide both sides by 4, in this case, x will be equal to -3/4. An interesting one, I guess. So we're done with factorization method of solution. Okay, I was right. Sal says hi. Michael got it. Yes. Yes. Good. Big name Battles also got it right. That's good. Okay, so we'll move to another method of solution. Okay, let me put our activities here. So we looked at meaning, we looked at methods of solution. Now we've looked at factorization. So now let's go into completing the squares. Completing the squares. Sorry, can I? Okay, so completing the square method. Okay, so let's pick this example for completing the square. So let's pick a first example. Solve by completing the square. X squared minus 10x plus 16 equal 0. Now, one advantage of completing the square is that it can solve any quadratic equation without an issue. Now, factorization has its limitation in that not all the equations have factors. You cannot factorize all of them. But completing the square is a complete solution in that you can use it to solve any quadratic equation. So that's the advantage. Okay. Now, when solving completing the square method, the first thing you do is that you take c to the other side. So you have x squared minus 10x equal to -16. So you take this c to the other side. So let's say take c to the other side. So that's the first thing to do. And the second thing to do, you divide throughout by a. So a is 1. So if you divide this by 1, you get the same thing. Anything you divide by 1 is still the same. But ideally, you divide through by a. So divide by a. Because the coefficient of x squared must be unity for you to use completing the square method. So if we do that, we'll get the same thing. So we still have x squared over 1 is still x squared over 1 is still minus 10x over 1 is still minus 16. So the third step is to half b, square it, and add to both sides. Okay, it's like a 3-in-1. So the third step is to half b, our b is -10, half it, the answer you get, square it, that answer, add it to the two sides. So you have this side before the equality and this side after it. Okay, so let's do that. So let's pick our b. Our b is negative 10, right? So the first thing is to half. So half multiplied by minus 10. So that's negative 10 over 2. Let's leave it like that. Square the answer. So you have minus 10 over 2 square, which is what? 100 over 4, right? And then add it to both sides. So that's how we continue. So from here, we have x squared minus 10x plus this value, which is 100 over 4, equal to negative 16 plus 100 over 4. So this third step, we have to be half it, we get this, square it, that answer we squared it and got this, and that answer now we added it to both sides. So add to this side and to this side. Now one thing that is interesting is that this value so this will always give you this. So just pick that half value, bring it down here. So this will be equal to, let's solve some LCM. 1 and 4 is 4. 1 and 4, 4. 4 times 16, that's negative 64. Plus 4 and 4, 1. 1 times 100, 100. Okay? So completing the square method appears longer, but it's also interesting. So from here we'll have x minus 10 over 2, which is 5, right? Squared, equal to, if you subtract this, you have 36 over 4. That's minus 64 plus 100. That's 36. Okay? Right? So that's 36 over 4. Now we can take the square root of both sides. So if we do that, can I move up? So if we do this, this square root and square cancels out. So we'll have x minus 5 equal to, the square root of 36 is plus or minus 6 over square root of 4 is 2. Right? So you have x minus 5 equals to plus or minus 3. So our x will now be, this minus 5 goes here, becomes positive 5. So you have 5 plus or minus 3. So if you want to break it, you have x equals to 5 plus 3 or x equals to 5 minus 3. That's the plus or minus now. We just separated them. 1 for plus, 1 for minus. So our x will be equal to 8 or x equal to 2. So that's completing the square method. It appears long, but you are very sure you are getting an answer. So let's do a recap quickly. In completing the square method, if you even remember, we solved this question earlier. We got 8 and 2. If you remember. So this is our equation. The first thing to do is to take c to the other side. The next thing to do is to divide throughout by a. So in this case, a is 1, so it didn't affect what we had. Now, half b, whatever you have in b, half it. Just keep the answer like that. Then square that answer. That's how we got 100 over 4. Now add it to both sides as the instructions say. So add it to both sides. So you have x squared minus 10x plus 100 over 4 equal to this minus 16 plus 100 over 4. Now interestingly, this side of the equation, since we've completed the square, it will give us a perfect square, which is just the x and what? Minus 10 over 2 squared. It gives you this. And then you have equal to this. So we did basic calculation and we arrived at 8 and 2. Okay, so any questions so far before we look at another example on completing the square? Any question? All right, so in the absence of question, let's do another example. If you understand, can you just react to it? Can you indicate? Send a like emoji or love emoji to show that you understand. Okay, let me put one on the board and you would solve. So this one says, that's question 2 now for completing the square. X squared plus 6x minus 5 equal to 0. Okay, no, plus and plus. So I'm waiting for your answer to this using completing the square method. So let me give you 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Don't clean the board, sir. All right, so welcome back. So I've seen a few answers. Let's solve together. So we'll have x squared plus 6x plus 5 equal to 0. So what's the first thing to do? Create two sides. So we'll have x squared plus 6x equal to negative 5, right? We divide throughout by a. Our a is 1, so it's not, that step is not applicable. Because because we'll get same thing. So what do? Half b, square it and add to both sides. Okay, so we have 6/2, that's, or 6 multiplied by half, which is 6/2, right? Square it, that's 6/2 square, that's 36/4, right? What's the next thing to do? Yeah, what's the next thing to do? After halving and squaring b, what do? Add it to both sides. So for this side, we have x squared plus 6x plus 36/4 equal to -5 plus 36/4, right? So don't forget the half value. You always need it. So we have x okay. We'll get it done. So x plus 6/2, right, equal to, here let's look for the LCM. The LCM of 1 and 4 is 4. 1 and 4, 4 times 5, that's 20, but -20, plus 4 and 4 is 1 times 36 is 36. Sorry, it's a square here, sorry. So this will give you this square. It always works that way. So just pick that half value, bring it down here. It always works. So from here we have x plus 6/2, that's 3, right? Squared equal to 16/4, right? Right? So let's proceed, which is equal to 4. So x plus 3 squared equal to 4. This is what we have. So we can take the square root of both sides. Square root and square goes. So we have x plus 3 equal to plus or minus the square root of 4 is 2. Now if we bring this plus 3 to the other side, so x becomes -3. The plus 3 becomes -3, plus or minus 2. And now we can split. So x is either equal to -3 plus 2, or x equals to -3 minus 2. So x equal to -3 plus 2, that's -1, or x equal to -3 minus 2, that's -5. So which of you were correct? Check. Who was correct? Okay, big name battles was correct. OG blood, you got 5 and 1. The negatives are missing, so you're not accurate. Okay, you got 2 or 3. Okay. So let's proceed with one last example where A is not 1, so that we'll get a clear picture of how this method works. So one last example for completing the square method before we move to formula. So example 3, solve x squared minus 6 and 4, right? 6x minus 4 equal to 0. Okay, so let me see how confident you are. Okay, not the example we want to solve. Sorry. I want to give one that has a not equal to 1. Okay, so 8, 18, and minus 5. So 8x squared minus 18x minus 5 equal 0. Is it plus or minus 18? So plus 18. Alright, so we want to solve this where a is not 1. So can I give you 60 seconds? Alright, so your 60 seconds starts now. Let's see what you get. Let's go. And if you get stuck, indicate where you're stuck so that I stress it when I'm solving. Alright, so let's proceed. Let's see what the answer gives. Let's solve. So remember, this is completing the square. The first thing you do, you create the two sides. So you have 8x squared plus 18x equal to 5, right? So that's what we said. Our first step is to take c to the other side. Second step is to do what? Divide throughout by a. So over 8 over 8 over 8. So we'll have x squared plus 18 over 8 equal to 5 over 8. Yes, right? Okay, so 2 in 8 is 4, 2 in 18 is 9. So what we'll have is x squared plus 9 over 4x, sorry, there's an x here, equal to 5 over 8. Okay, so remember our steps. We have square and add, so I don't want to waste time. So let's have half of b, which is 9 over 4, half will give us what? 9 over 8. So this is the half. What's the next thing? Square. Right? If we square 9 over 8 squared, that will give us what? 81 over 64. So this value now, we add it to both sides. We add it to both sides. So we'll have x squared plus 9 over 4x plus 81 over 64 equal to, here we already have our 9 over 8, sorry, 5 over 8 plus 81 over 64. Always don't forget your half value. That half value, just bring it down so you have x plus 9 over 8 squared. That half value, just bring it here, you are always fine. So you have the LCM of 8 and 64 is 64. 8 and 64 is 8. 8 times 5 is 40, right? Plus 64 and 64 is 1. 1 times 81, that's 81. Alright, if you got it to this point, can you indicate? In your original solution, you got it to this point. Can you indicate? Alright, let's proceed. So what we'll have is x plus 9 over 8 squared equal to 121 over 64. Now we can take the square root of both sides. So this can cancel this, and then we'll have x plus 9 over 8 equal to square root of 121 is 11, while square root of 64 is 8. Okay, can I go down or I come up here? I can continue. Okay, come up, right? Okay, so from here, x equal to the plus 9 over 8 goes to the other side. Sorry, there's a plus or minus here. Plus or minus, yes. So negative 9 over 8 plus or minus 11 over 8. So let's split. So x is either minus 9 over 8 plus 11 over 8, or x equal to minus 9 over 8 minus 11 over 8. So x equal to 2 over 8, or x equal to minus 20. Because the denominators are the same, you can just go straight. So minus 20 over 8. So x is either 1 over 4, or x is negative 5 over 2. That's 4 here to 4 here 5. Okay, so that was it. So I believe completing the square method is getting clearer. Okay, I'll give you one more. I won't solve it, but I'll expect your answer in the comment section, and then we'll move to formula method. So write this down. x squared minus 6x minus 4 equal 0. So use completing the square method. Use completing the square method. So write it down and solve. So we'll move to the next part of our lecture, which is formula. Formula method. And the formula method is pretty straightforward. That's like the result of completing the square. That's pretty straightforward. We'll be very fast with that. Okay, so we've done meaning of quadratic equations. We've seen the methods of solution, which one is factorization, choose completing the square. Now, we're looking at formula methods now. Okay, so I believe you've written this. I'm expecting your answers. Okay, so we can go straight to look for x. So when the original equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. So question, answer. So this one goes straight. Nurse Juliet, don't worry, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Wisdom Michael, you said you lost focus. Okay, don't worry, catch up from here. Catch up from formula method, and then possibly we'll do a recap. Nurse Juliet, we're with you. Let's go. Okay, now in this you just plug your a, b and c into this formula and you get your x. This is straightforward and fast. So let's pick an example. Let's pick an example. So example 1, we have x squared minus 4x minus 21 equal to 0. So solve using formula method. Now if you look at this clearly, we have our a as what? A is what? Obviously 1. Our b is what? Based on what we have here, comparing this to this, our b is what? Negative 4. And our c is what? Negative 21. So to get our roots, we just plug all of these into the formula. We get an answer. So let's plug it in. So x equal to minus b. Our b is what? Minus 4. That's minus b plus or minus the square root of discriminant. We'll talk about that very soon. So b squared, that's minus 4 squared minus 4 multiplied by a. What is our a? 1 multiplied by our c, which is what? Negative 21. All over 2 multiplied by 1, which is our a. So this is pretty straightforward. I can get your answer fast. So let's go. So minus minus gives you positive, plus or minus the square root of minus 4 squared is 16, minus minus, watch, will give us plus 21 times 4. That's 84. That's 4 times 1, 4 times 21, that's 84. All over 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, so we have 4 plus or minus the square root of 100. all over 2. Right? So let me come up here. So our x is equal to 4 plus or minus, the square root of 100 is 10. Square root of 100 is 10 all over 2. So x is equal to 4 plus 10 over 2, or x equal to 4 minus 10 over 2. Right? So x is either equal to 14 over 2 or x equal to minus 6 over 2. So x equal to 7 or x equal to negative 3. Alright, sorry, that was a break in transmission. So now I want you to quickly solve this before we round up. So solution to this problem quickly using formula method. Try to solve it quickly. Alright, so using the same formula, let's solve this one as we round up. The network is quite poor. So our A is 1, our B is 5, and our C is negative 24. So our x equal to, following this formula, minus B, which is 5, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 multiplied by a multiplied by c all over 2 multiplied by a. Okay, so we have minus 5 plus or minus square root of 25, minus minus gives plus, (96) all over 2. So our x is equal to minus 5 plus or minus the square root of 121 over 2. So x equal to minus 5 plus or minus 11 all over 2. So x equal to minus 5 plus 11 over 2, or x equals to minus 5 minus 11 over 2. So x is equal to 6 over 2, or x equal to minus 16 over 2. So x equal to 3, or x equals to negative 8. Alright, so that's the answer to this problem. Because of the network, we might need to end the live now. So next week Friday, same time, 5 p.m. you can join us. I believe the network will be better, and then we'll have a better class. So I remain Elsam. Have a nice day. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, very important, so that you are notified of all we're providing. You have lectures there to different topics, you have questions solved, exam questions, and a lot of resources in mathematics that will help you pass your exams and understand mathematics well. So I remain Elsam, subscribe. Peace out.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed this live session, Sam. I mean, this is a long way. What do you think? So don't forget to subscribe, as he said, and more series on this topic. That's quadratic equation will be deployed later on. So don't forget to follow our Instagram page at elsam_. So thanks for supporting and thanks for joining this live. See you later. Thanks. I remain Devian.
Yeah, it makes sense.